Okay, we're going to study how to multiply and divide fractions. The easiest thing to do is, first of all, to multiply fractions. So let's take notes as usual. And let me give you this question. 1/2 of 1/4 equals, and you fill in the answer. What do you think? So what's 1/2 of 1/4 of an inch, for example? And you can press pause if you need to, and pause is located in the bottom left of the screen. 1/2 of 1/4 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch, you think? And what we're going to do is check the rule for multiplying fractions and see if it works. Of means multiply, funny enough. So we can change this to 1/2 multiplied by 1/4. Now the rule for multiplying fractions is we multiply the tops 1 times 1, and then we multiply the bottoms 2 times 4, and we get 1/8, and that's correct. Okay, let's try another one for fun. 2/3 of 15 equals. What do you think? Write down the answer. Just guess it. 2/3 of $15. So you might want to think, well, what's 1/3 of $15? So what's 2/3 of $15? And again, you know, if you want to take time to think about it, press pause. Pause is located in the bottom left of the screen. $10, right? 1/3 is 5, 2/3 is 10. So let's check. There's a method for multiplying fractions again, and here's how we do it. We go 2/3. Now of actually means multiply in math, so change that to multiply. And 15 can be written 15/1. And if we multiply the tops, 2 times 15 over, and then multiply the bottoms, 3 times 1, we get 2 times 15 is 30. 3 times 1 is 3. And write down the answer, 30 divided by 3. $10, right? So it does work. So the rule for multiplying fractions actually is multiply the tops, then multiply the bottoms, and then divide. Now you know the tops are called the numerator. The top of a fraction is called the numerator, and the bottom is called the denominator. So we multiply the numerators, and then we multiply the denominators, and then divide. So the rule for multiplying fractions, and we can use letters to represent it, A over B multiplied by C over D. How do you think we would write that? A over B times C over D. Well, we multiply the tops, A times C, and then multiply the bottoms, B times D. And in algebra, when letters or variables are written beside each other, that means multiply, so that's AC all over BD, okay? So, let's have a look at this then. 3/8 multiplied by 2/9. Get the answer. So again, multiply the tops, 3 times 2 over 8 times 9, multiply the bottoms, and we get 6/72. Now, question is, can we put the fraction in lowest terms? So just press pause, bottom left of the screen, and put that fraction in lowest terms. Now, if you think about it, well, in fact, 6 goes into 72. 6 into 6 goes once. 6 into 7 goes once, remainder 1. 6 into 12 goes twice. So 6/72 can be written 1/12 in lowest terms. Okay? Now, the thing about this example is that this was a lot of work to get to here, and we had to do a lot of computation, multiplying on top and bottom, and then put in lowest terms. A quicker way is this way. if you're multiplying fractions, you can do a thing called cross-canceling. If you look at 3 and 9, they both have a common factor of 3. They're both a multiple of 3. 3 into 3 goes once, 3 into 9 goes 3 times. Can you see anything else we can do? How about 2 and 8? They're both multiples of 2. 2 into 2 goes once, 2 into 8 goes 4 times. And so a quicker way to multiply these fractions is first to cross cancel, and now we'll get 1 times 1 times 1 over 4 times 3, and that makes 1 over 12. Okay, so you try another one now. 4 over 15 multiplied by 35 over 12. Okay, so same thing. We can multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators and divide, but that looks like a lot of work. How about we cross cancel first? Do 4 and 12 have a common factor? 4 goes into both, right? So 4 into 4 goes once, 4 into 12 goes 3 times. How about 15 and 35? 5 into 15 goes 3 times, 5 into 35 goes 7 times. Right, so we end up with 1 times 7 divided by 3 times 3, which is 7 over 9. Okay, so now let's review changing mixed numbers to improper fractions before we proceed. So for example, 2 3/4. Change that to a improper fraction. Right now it's a mixed number. Change it to an improper fraction. So let's think about it. If you had $2 3/4, what do you think? Well, there's 4 quarters in a dollar, so this would be 8 quarters plus 3, that's 11, isn't it? 11 quarters. And here's the procedure. We go 4 times 2, 4 times 2, then we add 3 and put it all over the 4. So that gives us 8 plus 3 over 4, 11 over 4, 11 quarters, right? So you try this one then. 3 5/8 of an inch. How many eighths of an inch is that? 3 5/8 of an inch. Well, there's 8 eighths in 1 inch. So 8 times 3 is 24. That's 24 eighths. Plus 5, that's 29 eighths, isn't it? And here's the procedure. We go 8 times 3. Then we add the 5. All over 8. 8 times 3, that's 24. Plus 5, all over 8. So 29 over 8, right? So if we were to multiply 3 3/5 by 2 7/9, the best way to do this, if you multiply two mixed numbers, the best way to do it is to first turn them both into improper fractions. So 5 times 3 plus 3 over 5, that's 15 plus 3, 18 over 5, right? This one is 9 times 2, so that's multiplied by, 9 times 2 plus 7, all over 9, and that's 18 plus 7, 25 over 9, and now we multiply the fractions. And if you want, you can multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators and divide. But if you can find factors that cross cancel, do so. 9 into 9 goes once, 9 to 18 goes twice. Anything else? 5 to 5 goes once, 5 to 25 goes 5 times. So this gives 2 times 5 over 1 times 1, or 10 over 1, and 10 divided by 1. How many 1s are in 10? Well, there's 10 1s in 10. 10 divided by 1 is 10. Let's just quickly review that. I mean, if you had 6 divided by 2, How many 2's are in 6? There's 3 2's in 6, right? Let's see, 20 divided by 4. How many 4's are in 20? 5 4's in 20, right? That's how division works. So if you had 3 over 1, how many 1's are in 3? How many $1 bills in $3? There's 3 of them, right? So let's do one more for practice. 1 3/4 multiplied by 2 1/7. Multiplying two mixed numbers. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3, that's 7/4. Multiplied by 7 times 2, 14. 14 plus 1, 15 sevenths. Now cross cancel and see what that gives. Well, we can do this. 7 into 7 goes once, 7 into 7 goes once. So we have 1 times 15 over 4 times 1, which gives 15 over 4. Now, just for fun, this is an improper fraction, okay? We usually use improper fractions in algebra, and you'll see why when we get to equations. Sometimes we use mixed numbers, so let's turn it into mixed number for fun. 4 into 15 goes how many times? 4 to 15 goes 3 times, doesn't it? And the remainder is 3 because it's 12. And so 3 remainder 3, or that can be written 3 3/4, right? Now, dividing fractions. You must have first covered multiplying fractions because that's the skill we need most of all. There's only one extra step to dividing fractions. Let's first understand the concept. Write down the answer to this. 10 divided by 10. 10 divided by 10. 10 divided by 5. 10 divided by 1. Okay? So don't be afraid to write it down. That's how you get things into your long-term memory, is to write them down on a piece of paper. You remember 40% of what you write down. How many 10's are in 10? There's one 10 in 10. How many 5's are in 10? How many $5 bills in $10? Well, there's 2 of them. How many $1 bills are in $10? Right? 10 of them, right? Easy. Okay. Well, how about this? 10 divided by 1/4. Write the answer down now. It's exactly the same as these ones. Okay? We need to understand something about division. Again, what division means is, how many 10's are contained in 10? There's one 10 in 10. How many 5's are in 10? There's 2. How many 1's are in 10? There's 10. How many quarters are in 10? How many quarters in $10? Write down the answer. Well, let's think about it. There's 4 quarters in $1. So in $10, press pause. 40? That's correct. Funny enough. So how about this one? 10 divided by 1/2. If you had 10 cups of sugar to put into a big cake, how many half cups would that be? How many half cups of sugar in 10 cups of sugar? Right? 10 divided by 1/2. Press pause, write down the answer. It's 20, isn't it? Okay, now let's look at our procedure for dividing by fractions, because we have a procedure. 10 divided by 5. Now in the previous video we discussed how 10 can be written 10 over 1, right? 5 can be written 5 over 1. So if we change these to fractions, we have 10 over 1 divided by 5 over 1. Now the procedure for dividing by fractions is to get the reciprocal of the fraction on the right and multiply. So we do this, 10 over 1 multiplied by, and we flip this one upside down, 1 over 5, right? Now multiplying fractions, 10 times 1 is 10, over 1 times 5 is 5, 10 over 5 is 2. So yes, 10 over 5 is definitely 2, But what we've shown with this is that this procedure of dividing fractions is true. When you flip the fraction on the right and multiply, that is correct. So let's explore that with 10 divided by 1/4. If we change 10 to a fraction, it can be written 10 over 1. So 10 over 1 divided by 1/4 is the same as, this is the procedure for dividing fractions. You go 10 over 1, multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction on the right, 4 over 1, right? Now that gives us 10 times 4, 40, over 1 times 1, 1, and 40 over 1 is, how many 1s in 40? 40, right? And we proved over here, 10 divided by 1/4 is 40 when we thought about it. And now we have also proved the procedure for dividing by fractions, which is to flip this fraction on the right and multiply. So if you had, for example, 2/7 divided by 3/14, all you've got to do is go 2 over 7 multiplied by, flip the fraction on the right, 14 over 3, and now multiply the fractions. And of course, we can cross cancel. 7 into 7 goes once, 7 into 14 goes twice. So that gives us 2 times 2 is 4, over 1 times 3 is 3, 4/3. So how about this? If you had A over B divided by C over D, what would that be? A, B, C, and D represent numbers. Well, it would be the first fraction, A over B, multiplied by, and what do we do with this fraction? Get the reciprocal, D over C, and multiply. So we just flip this fraction upside down, multiply, and that becomes A times D over B times C, right? Okay, how about mixed numbers? 1 and 1/4 divided by 2 and 3/8. Well, dividing mixed numbers, you might want to change them to improper fractions to begin with, right? 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1, 5. So we go, 4 times 1 plus 1, that's 5 over 4. So we get 5 over 4 divided by 8 times 2 plus 3 over 8, which is 16 plus 3, 19 over 8. And when we're dividing fractions, we flip the fraction on the right and multiply. So 5/4 multiplied by 8/9, right? Go ahead and do it then. At any stage in these videos, you want to be pressing pause and seeing if you can get the next step, obviously. 4 into 4 goes once, 4 into 8 goes twice. And we have 5 times 2 is 10. Over 1 times 9 is 9, 10 over 9. Right. Oh, of course, we could have changed these both to mixed numbers as well, just for fun. 3 into 4 goes once, remainder 1, so 1 and 1/3, right? 9 into 10 goes once, remainder 1, so this is 1 and 1/9. Okay? So you go ahead and do this one then. See if you've learned your lesson. 2 and 3/5 divided by 1 and 1/10. So press pause and calculate that. So again, first of all, got to change them to improper fractions. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3, 13. So that's 13/5 divided by 1 times 10 is 10 plus 1 all over 10. That's 10 plus 1, 11/10. So that's 13 over 5, and this is the fraction we flip. The one on the right, not the one on the left. That's a common mistake. You always flip the fraction on the right. Multiplied by 10 over 11. And we can cross cancel. 5 into 5 goes once, 5 into that goes twice. 13 times 2, 26. 1 times 11, 11. So 26 over 11 is the improper fraction. As a mixed number, 11 into that goes twice. Remainder, well, that's 22, so remainder 4, right? So twice and 4 elevenths.